Howdy hey, I'm Kevin and I play The Binding of Isaac. It's the tail end of a Sunday. I'm a little sad to see Sunday go, but that's, I can't have Friday without the Sunday ending. This is where the run ends. This is where the win streak ends. I'm gonna share something that I do right before I record. Sometimes I just oh, that's loud. Sometimes I just put my mic very close to my nose and I go, and it reminds me of my dogs sniffing my ears or something, and it gives me a sense of comfort. I'm gonna do a little bit more for myself so that when I listen to it later, I can appreciate a little extra hit of serotonin. I don't know how well it translates over the microphone, but listen, when times are tough and your dog is far away, you do what you can to connect with the spirit of your pet, even though they might not realize it. Anyways, I want to share stories of my travels in Korea, and more specifically for I don't know, today's conversation at the very least is how we were just so it was just me and Jacqueline. Jacqueline and I, we were kind of wandering around Korea. It was our first international trip, so it was kind of a big deal, and I did organize most of it because not that I know my way around Korea, but because I am Korean and I can read the signs mostly, and I guess more importantly, I have relatives that know what to do and what's fun around Korea. So I planned a lot of it, and my relatives helped me plan the rest, and that was honestly so helpful. But we had a few kind of rest days in Korea because traveling, Japan, Korea, or any other places, I would assume they are exhausting. Constant walking. I think I mentioned this recently. I get a sense of deja vu for some reason, so I probably talked about it recently. So much of it is walking from I don't know, one thing to the other. Markets. When I'm looking at where we were at some river. I don't know if it was Han River. It was one of the great rivers of Korea. And God, I don't know the name of it, man. It was one of the. There was a lot of people there, okay, and that's kind of all I remember. But anyways, a lot of walking, because a lot of traveling is looking at things, and for you to look at things, you have to walk everywhere. Even if you transit, even if you taxi, walking is inevitable. So even before going on the Japan and Korea trip for me, I actually spent some time training for it. And I don't know anyone else in my life that trains for a vacation, but let me tell you, I trained real hard over the year, and then I barely got out of it alive. So, imagine if I didn't train, you know what I mean? So anyways, it's good to have rest days. I don't know why I say it like that, but it's good to have rest days. Even when you're jam-pack your schedule, just have a few days to go. Just have a few days. A day at least once a while, and and set it as okay, this is a day where we don't book anything. Maybe we just we schedule one, I don't know, sushi making class in the afternoon, and that's kind of it. And we can have a late morning. We can have a late morning, and then, you know, we can just do one thing that we booked for, and then we can have the rest of the day to rest. Because boy, my feet got so tired on the trip. So I'm so glad that I made extra time for to rest my legs. And on one of my rest days, with Jacqueline, we were kind of we were walking around, and I can't remember where we were exactly, but then we eventually got bored, and then we were like, okay, we should find something to do around here. Like, it's good to rest, you know, it's good to rejuvenate, but, you know, at the same time, you want to make the most of the day that you have on your vacation, right? Oh, 很久掉. Jesus, man. Trip. And we were you know, looked up on our phones. Hey, where should we go for like the rest of the day, rest of the morning? And then we were looking up our location, and we're like, what's there to do around here? And one of the first things that we found was that, oh, where we are, we're very close to a place where they modeled the movie K-pop Demon Hunters. And actually, even like before the trip, Jacqueline and I, we did watch K-pop Demon Hunters. And my god, I can't believe the amount of glazing that movie gets. It is not a good movie in my opinion. And I don't want to hear, oh, it's just a kids movie or whatever, or it's like, oh, this is like a great representation or whatever. It's just, in my opinion, a bad movie. A kid movie doesn't have to be a bad movie. The villain, whatever, it's not meant to be serious, right? So I know that, and I'm not a movie critic. You will never catch me talking about the set pieces of a movie, the character development of a movie, I don't know, the Rotten Tomato or the letterbox, whatever, like scores. It doesn't. I don't care. I don't care about movie scores. I don't care about the director's whatever, right? Or the actor's performance. Most of it, I'm just like, for me, movies boil down to, did I like it or not? And I guess what I'm trying to say for the case of K-pop Demon Hunters, I just didn't like it. I didn't really like the music. It felt very Netflix produced. The storylines were very predictable. I don't know, I didn't like it. It was not the movie for me. And honestly, I'm a very picky movie watcher anyway, so I'm not asking movies to be made for me, I guess. Anyways, K-pop Demon Hunters. We get to the location. It's called. Let me look it up. Where is it? What is it called? It's called. Okay, K-pop Demon Hunters heavily feature iconic real-life locations in Seoul, South Korea, with Namsan Seoul Tower serving as a central climactic filming spot for the Saja Boys' final performance. Other key locations include Naksan Park. No, here. Bukchon Hanok Village. I think that's where we were. So we stumble into this place, and we're like, oh, this is like down the block essentially. So we can definitely just go, you know, walk down a little bit, maybe grab something to eat on the way, and then we can look at what, you know, if the movie really mirrors the real life that we see. I don't think when we went it was like it was not a beautiful day, but it was in the autumn, so it wasn't too terribly hot at the very least. Excuse me. Hold on. Let me cook. Strength. Hell yeah, dude. Ah, darn, I kind of misplayed that. Anyways, we went to the Hanok village, Bukchon, and it was fascinating because the whole place kind of turned into like a tourist destination, essentially overnight. I think before, you know, the introduction of a K-pop Demon Hunters, I think it was just like kind of it was more of a cultural, like more traditionally cultural site. It's more like, I don't know, where a grandma would take like a kid. It's certainly not the most exciting place without the connotations of it being part of a, I don't know, a new locally, or a new movie, essentially. So because it was so quickly converted into a tourist destination, I think they just put so many signs around like the houses there, and like the little monuments, the little visiting sites that were like, please be quiet, like this is like people actually live here, this is not just like a tourist destination, it's like, you know, it's residential. But there was so many people walking up and down, taking so many photos. Of course I was one of those people too. Yeah, like I just remember needing to like go to the bathroom really bad while I was like climbing up the steps. It was a beautiful like architecturally. Again, the weather wasn't perfect. It was so crowded, so it wasn't perfect in that department either. But you can get a decent view of the whole area. I'm not min-maxing red key here. It's not. We're not doing that here. No. What was I? Oh man, I keep doing this, man. Anyways, we were just kind of we were going around. There was a lot of cafes too. There's a lot of souvenir shops. It was, I honestly, again, because of my dislike for the movie, I cannot recommend going to visit that place. But yeah, like me, if you just happen to be in the area, it's cool to see because of, I mean, it was interesting for me because of, it was interesting to see how a place that's very kind of like overlooked can get transformed overnight into like a complete booming, a local spot. Again, before this, probably not a lot of foot traffic, but after the movie coming out and after Netflix officially kind of saying, oh, this movie, the animations, whatever the backgrounds were inspired by this place in Korea, and then, you know, now everyone has to go see this place in Korea. It was cool though. It was cool though. I could definitely see the similarities. That was the coolest part about. That was the most enjoyment I got from watching the freaking movie, dude. The movie I did not like, but the location, the extra enjoyment that I got from visiting the actual spot, it was, you know, I'm not gonna lie, it was interesting. So definitely go if you're, I don't know, if you're a fan of K-pop Demon Hunters. I feel like, okay, this is February of 2026. I feel like if you haven't watched that movie now, you probably will never watch it. And I was thinking about this the other day too. Remember the Hotel Transylvania girl from Kelowna? I could imagine if I had like a daughter that was like, Dad, I want to watch K-pop Demon Hunters over and over again. I would lose my freaking mind, dude. I honestly don't know if I would have my daughter watch Hotel Transylvania or K-pop Demon Hunters. I guess I don't know. So, you know, don't ask. And speaking of travels in Korea, speaking of travels in Korea, Wabi was talking about how he went to visit Korea, and he was so excited, and you know, because he has heard so many good things about the food, about the place. And then he gets there, and he's like, "Wait, it's not as nice as other places that he's been to, such as Japan." And to that, like as a Korean man, I agree. I agree that Japan and Korea are two completely different places. And I think that's probably for a good reason, and I think that's for the benefit of two different visiting sites. Like, there are two different countries, so they should be different. If they're the same, then I don't know, doesn't that take away from the diversity of things? Isn't variety the spice of life? Have we lost our minds? And his main points were that Korean people aren't as I don't know, like subservient to services. Like service workers in Japan, they're overly kind. They're like, sumimasen. And you know, I guess typically they're kind. I know that Jacqueline had a rough experience in Japan, but you know, that is not to be discussed at this present moment. Anyways. Korean people are rude. Korean people are more real, and they're not that they care less. They're more rugged. You know what I mean? They're more, you know. Remember what Japan did to us? You know that. And again, I think it's for a good reason. Of course, I like very much visiting Japan. Honestly, don't know which I like visiting better. I like visiting Korea because it's, you know, it has my relatives. It has like my relatives, my grandma, my cousins, and I can understand the signs, and I know what to expect, and I can navigate things a little bit better because of the reduced language barrier. But at the same time, I do agree that Korean people just aren't as like nice in quotations. That's only because the niceness of Japanese service workers are an anomaly. I don't think that makes everyone else's service standards low. It's just Japan just hold them to a very different degree, and I mean, I know that Japan has its own problems. I know that. Oh my god, I couldn't even tell. I know that like Japanese workers are often incredibly overworked. Sorry, I had to focus there. Japanese workers are very overworked, and I think because of that, you should appreciate the service workers a bit more, knowing that they go through a lot of stuff. They deal with a lot of tourists. They, again, because the higher standard, they have to appeal to customers a little bit more than any other countries, just because of their culture, and their their honor or whatever system is very much values I guess like service, okay, and like top tier service. Korean people just don't give a fuck most of the time. Although I haven't had any like Korean people be outwardly rude like Wubby has, anecdotally mentioned. They're nice in their own ways. It's just not the same as Japan. I don't know. At the end of the day, I agree with him. And I do agree that if you're, if you haven't been to either countries and you're kind of debating on which to go, either Japan or Korea, I do think that try going to Japan first. And not because of the service niceness, but more so because of the language barrier. Korean signs are hardly translated they're hardly translated into English. For you to get around, a lot of it, you have to kind of go blind, and that is not ideal. So if you're going to Korea, you definitely need to know someone that speaks Korean, kind of understand their culture and expectations a little bit better. Simply because a lot of it is you just can't know as someone that's visiting, because the signs, I don't know. As much as Korea is praised for like a tourist and travel destination, I don't think it's as friendly as Japan. In Japan, signs and their service workers, a lot of them speak better English. Their signs are a little more translated into English. So, and traveling in Japan without someone that speaks Japanese or is Japanese, for me, it was a little bit easier. And honestly, if I didn't speak Korean, I probably wouldn't want to go visit Korea. But again, not because of how nice the service workers are. I think they're both nice, in their own ways. And they're just more real. They don't sell the false idea that this is like a paradise of some sort. And I honestly see that as a very much a positive. Or at least, it's not a negative, Yeah. Korea was a good time though. My relatives were so nice. They were offering to do a lot of things for us. They paid for a lot of our stuff. Of course, I don't get to go to Korea very often. So whenever I do, I have, not like obligations, but certain like expectations that I should, see my relatives, that I should make time for them, see their cousins that I have hardly ever met. Stuff like that. And, you know, I'm not gonna say, oh, that's not important because I don't know my cousins. I never grew up with them. I think it's, even though I don't know them very well, it's still, you know, courtesy. It's family courtesy to, you know, visit your relatives. And of course, it's good to see my grandma because I do not get to see her very often. My grandma lived in Canada for a while. She helped, you know, me and my brothers in Canada for the first, like, while I was in elementary school. She did have to go back because of, like, visa things and health concerns, but you know, so she's taking care of me throughout my life, so I do need to take care of her. You know, whenever I get to go back, which is not often enough because of my current life circumstances. I'm too busy playing Binding of Isaac, unfortunately, so sorry, Grandma. But I'll make time. I'll make time to visit my grandma whenever I go to Korea. I'm not gonna say, sorry grandma, I'm going to Bukchon village to see where the Huntrix were performing their final routine. Sorry grandma, I can't go see you in, you know, when you're in the hospital because I am busy with my tourist destinations. That seems like way too heartless and detached from reality, so, you know, I will decide to not do that. Oh, come on. Also, every time I mention, like, K-pop Demon Hunters, I think of that one video where it's like that one Walmart manager that's bald and looks like Northern Lion that is, like, pumping his fists at his, like, employees, trying to, like, hype them up before their shift, and everyone's, like, incredibly fed up. Every time I think of anything, what is it, K-pop Demon Hunter related, that is just what I think of. And also, it is so smart of that show to introduce things like all the Korean snacks, because now all the Korean snacks have you know, the K-pop Demon Hunters written all over it, like their instant ramens or their, you know, shrimp crackers or their, like, I don't know, like pepero sticks or something like that. They're all, it's like more brand deals, and it's such a Netflix thing to do, those slimy bastards. Like, yeah, dude, this is what's gonna make the shareholders money after they sell or collaborate their brand with Nongshim and you know, other snack brands that I can't really think of right now. Those slimy shareholders, man. I do concede that there's like one, the one decent, I don't know why I thought I wouldn't need to fight anything by bombing that. There's that one song that is clearly their, like, signature song. I think it's Golden. The one that goes like, I'm not gonna sing it. Don't make me sing. I'm not gonna sing it. But you know the song. I'll just say the words. We're going up, up, up. This is the moment. I don't know the rest of the song. We don't know where we're going. Something, something, something. We're going up, up, up. This is our moment. The song goes something like that, dude. Well, terrible items. That one song was okay. Every other song was, in my opinion, just hot garbage that it's just not worth a second listen, in my opinion. And I was appalled that there were what is it called? Like Spotify playlist? Like Spotify profile that was like Saja Boys and the Huntrix. Dude, I cannot be talking about K-pop Demon Hunters in like this late into the into the hype. The hype has gone up, died down, and it's like the stocks are at like its lowest. And here's me talking all about it. I am so late to talking about this. But man, just again, I already know that if you haven't watched it by now, you will probably never watch it. Especially with like Netflix just not being worth it anymore. And Netflix used to be associated with, you know, decent quality of like film production, but now it's just kind of like comically bad. And I think it's for a good reason. There are shows like, what is it called? Culinary Class Wars that Jacqueline and I used to watch. And I will continue to watch if the opportunity arises, but there are like more entertaining shows. And it's never like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna rewatch it every few years type of shows. It's certainly not the levels of like The Office or The Breaking Bad. Like those are different beasts, right? Oh, this gives me speed up. Hold on. The world. Okay, we're going in the right place. Okay. I'm surprised that people still use Netflix. I'm surprised that my family has Netflix. I remember them like cracking down on account sharing such a long time ago, and then honestly don't know what happened to that. I don't know if they're still cracking down on that stuff. But honestly, if they really do that, then they're gonna lose so many of their customers. Because they're on their like last thin legs, you know. Their stocks aren't doing so hot these days as far as I know. Not that I'm, you know, following their stocks very closely, but, you know, look at the movies that they're pumping out. But honestly, I guess with how popular K-pop Demon Hunters has been, I guess they're doing alright. And do not be... okay. Do not go to Korea just because you like K-pop Demon Hunters. But I guess that is an introduction. That's a gateway drug for like toddlers. Because, you know, if my daughter started watching K-pop Demon Hunters, she's gonna... what's next? She's gonna be listening to BTS too, because by the time my daughter is able to comprehend, you know, musical notes, she's gonna be... BTS is gonna be long gone, and BTS 2 will have taken place. They're gonna be so good that they made a second one. And, you know, don't get me started on what I think about the Korean, like, entertainment, like Korean shows and K-pop as an export. I guess it's not my thing. I guess they're not catered for me, so, you know, it's not my thing. But I'm sure there's a lot of people that like it, just like there's a lot of people that enjoy K-pop Demon Hunters. Anyways, that's Hybe the Binding of Isaac. Thanks for watching. See you.